Welcome back to WEF Tech Live. I am the host, Travis Loop. I'm going to have a fascinating conversation now about wastewater treatment operation in Antarctica. Joined for this conversation by Bill Davis. He is Director of Utilities in Richland County in South Carolina.
That's right.
But you're also like a mentor, right, to some of these younger operators and younger folks in the water sector. And so could you kind of tell me the story of this gentleman that you've helped out and that he has been a wastewater treatment operator in Antarctica? I mean, that's quite a task.
You don't hear that every day.
No, not at all. There can't be that many facilities there either, right?
No, actually, he has the largest wastewater treatment plant in Antarctica, but it's only 20,000 gallons a day, and it may be the only large wastewater treatment plant, which is really, really, really small.
Yeah. So who runs that? Is that like a U.S. research facility or?
It's the National Science Foundation.
Okay.
And it's McMurdo Station. It's off of Ross Island. And if you really are interested in that, we are having a presentation this afternoon.
I was going to say, if I was really interested, you could send me?
I could send you.
Send me there?
Yeah, it's really cold.
Not to the presentation. I want to go to Antarctica. Yeah.
It's really dark and really cold, but there are no polar bears. That's one thing I did learn.
Penguins, though. Penguins.
So joining the WEF mentorship program and getting paired up with Daniel, because I'm an operator and an engineer, and so they paired me up with Daniel. He's an operator. He's 22 years old. This is his first big wastewater job. So there's a private consultant that sends operators to Antarctica. So his first step was he's got to come from Oregon to 2 weeks of isolation in New Zealand to go to meet with 150 people in the wintertime in Antarctica.
It's their winter.
Winter.
Whew.
So our winter is their summer. So the bad thing about being in Antarctica in the wintertime is the sun doesn't come up. So he got there, and he had four weeks of daylight, and then 5 months of darkness, and then 4 more weeks of daylight. So we'll talk about that. But as he got there, and you're looking at all this darkness and everything, and all these aspects of Antarctica that you're not used to. You're 22 years old. You arrive, and you're like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten into?
You know nobody there.
There's only 150 people there in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So the National Science Foundation does stay open year-round. And so when he gets there, 3 weeks later, his boss says, I've had enough. I'm out. You're it. So now he's by himself running a wastewater plant as a 22-year-old. He actually turned 23 in July. So some of the challenges mentally for him were having that leadership position thrown at him, not having a lot of people to bounce things off of. So our mentorship became more of a like how to help him get the information he needs. There he is. He's just walking up. So get the information that he needs and try to get that plant running like it needs to be running.
Sure.
So
yeah, absolutely. And also, what's that plant like? How's that compare to a different kind of facility? Is it just a lower level treatment, or what's going on there? So
the treatment is not regulated per se. They do run it like an EPA type plant where they do report, but it's not a regulated plant. So when they come in to run those operations, there's in a house. So you're in a housed facility, and you've got piping that runs across the ground that's insulated, to keep it from freezing. And everything is visible, and it's really, difficult to get outside to work on anything, because what Daniel was telling me is that when he gets the wind blowing, it's like negative 30 or 40 miles an hour winds. I mean, you got those things coming in with 40 to 50, degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Your eyeballs will freeze, so you have to wear goggles.
Wow.
Just going outside.
Incredible. Yeah, maybe Daniel, I know he's watching out there. Maybe Daniel wants to come up here and chat with us. Yeah, we'd love to have him come in. We'll get him mic'd and get him on set here in a second, and maybe he'll just take your place and tell us more.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're mentoring somebody that is in Antarctica, you're corresponding with him, email and stuff like that?
We met weekly on Teams. And,
okay, that's right. We got that video stuff now.
So we had to meet at 2 o'clock my time, which was tomorrow at 6 a.m. his time. So that's the only time that I was not asleep and he was awake, and he's not working.
Yeah.
So it was a great time for us. We met weekly, and we talked about all these activities, and He's getting ready to come on in.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things I wanted to point out is the mentoring aspect of that became a little bigger because we were able to take people that are friends of mine that know wastewater treatment and bring those people to Daniel in these team meetings every Monday. So he was able to ask technical questions, gain some technical knowledge, and ironically, on a community, a call for a committee that we have for WEF, the designer of the wastewater treatment plant happened to be in the meeting and heard me talking about our mentorship. She said, "Wait, I designed that treatment plant in 1998.
Wow.
Incredible. I mean, that we're in a small group setting like that, and she's going to be in the meeting. So,
Well, that's how the WEF community works, right?
yeah, she's
We've
here.
got
And she met Daniel yesterday.
Awesome,
You know,
awesome.
So anyway,
And so
it's
maybe
great.
maybe she had. You can stay right there. We're going to slide him in next to you in a second. So maybe she had some special advice to provide.
she did. She
Yeah.
actually was helping him.
So here's
Hello.
Daniel here. Daniel, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Awesome. So
Hey,
Daniel
buddy.
Isenberger, right?
Isenberger. Yeah.
Okay. So Antarctica, you got the Antarctica tan going. And
Yeah, the full paleness. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, very, very, very
Yeah,
much so.
I'm just like I'm fascinated by travel and our planet
absolutely,
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff, and so I am just personally captivated by the fact you did a six months there.
6.5 months. Yeah.
6 months. Okay, so what was it like?
Very cold. I mean, number one thing, like when I think of it, just immediately it's the cold that like
Yeah.
my mind goes back to that.
that.
So that's cold and dark. Like that's, I mean, for 4 months you're living in darkness. So
Yeah.
those are kind of the biggest. Those things, elements, really override many of the other factors for me. Is just the physical location where you're at. So
Yeah.
cold and dark and challenging. Like it's really unique too. So you have a lot of just elements that combine overall to make it just that really like refreshing in a way, but it's just like the Iceman. Like it cools you down, and then so it's great.
Yeah, you can't just like leave work and go to Buffalo Wild Wings,
Oh, no.
right? or go for a hike somewhere or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Like
No.
you're just kind of locked down basically.
You are locked down to a large extent. You can you can go on a walk. I mean, there's several routes on the
Okay.
island. I mean, on the presentation, you'll be able to like kind of see some of the. So there is a way to get out per se, but for the most part, you're geographically confined to that island. I mean, it's not, and the radius is like less than a mile, so you're stuck there for
Wow.
six months.
Okay, and then what about the water treatment side? Okay, you're still newer to the industry and to the job as being an operator, right? What was it like? This system like? Was this system a lot different from what you would expect or what you would have at a normal facility in the
Yeah.
States? Or
Definitely. I think for the size of the population that we were dealing with, stateside you would have just a pond or really basic lagoon setup. But here we utilized UV disinfection, biosolids processing with a belt press, activated sludge, which is more traditional, and several redundancy features which are not typical for a small plant at all. So that was one of the unique features. And being all enclosed in a building inside, which outside you're not going to put things in a building, you're going to have them spread out because
yeah.
things don't freeze.
And I mean, lots of maybe naive questions from me here. Are you then just discharging it into the ocean there?
Yep. It's iced up for the most part. Well, I mean, it ices up, and we have a pipeline that just runs out and discharges all the water. Yeah.
Okay. And what level treatment are we talking about?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's following the EPA standards, 40 CFR section of the Clean Water Act.
Okay.
So we treat it to a level that would be required in the States. Now we aren't required for that, but we do it anyway.
Yeah, good environmental stewardship right
absolutely,
down
yeah.
there. And so you're just doing the wastewater side. Where's drinking water coming for these 150 people?
Yeah, drinking water comes from an RO plant that's housed inside the power generation facility.
Okay.
So that was the department that I worked within, the utilities department. The wastewater plant had its own building, and the water and power were basically housed in two separate buildings, like in 150 feet of mine. So it really kept everything close by.
All right. Is this a one-time adventure for you? Like you had your 6 months and that was a great experience, and now you're ready just to, set up regular shop or
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was a great experience for me one time for sure. Certain people are more adapted to that type of an environment and work-life balance than I am, so I definitely have moved on in my mind from there.
Okay.
So
When did you come back? How long has it been?
I got back Saturday.
Oh my gosh! So it's been like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Personally, how does it feel then to be in a city and have all this stuff? And,
Oh, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of overstimulation in my mind and just trying to adapt and then figure out where the next steps are.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, what are the next steps? I mean, you've got great now hands-on operational experience. What do you think you're going to go do? You're
Yeah.
from Oregon. Are you going to go back there?
Right, yeah, it's a good question. I know this industry is changing in a lot of ways, and one of the biggest benefits of the contract job that I took in Antarctica was you work for this brief period of time, and then you have that rest of the time off to go pursue activities where you would be otherwise restricted in a typical operations role. So I'm looking at opportunities perhaps to work for 8 months of the year and take 4 months off, and those 4 months would be unpaid for the most part, and that is what I'm primarily focused on right now, just getting that type of work-life balance.
Oh, very,
Yeah.
very, very cool. I know Bill has kind of been a mentor for
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
What was it? How important was that? What happened? What was it like when you were there in Antarctica to have somebody back, in the U.S. that could connect you with information and people and help you?
Oh, it was great. I think actually having Bill as a mentor was what helped me get through the challenges of the Antarctic environment. Just to have someone to keep accountable who actually knew the processes and the challenges of the work situation. So it was really good to have that feedback and that accountability, as well as the technical advice and the networking and other advice in terms of the career direction from not mentors, but people that he was able to connect me with, and people in the industry.
Have you been to WEF Tech before?
Yeah, I was here 4 years ago, New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so have you been to Operations Challenge?
I haven't stayed for the full conference because I'm typically in the technical sessions
Okay.
for continuing education.
Yeah.
So I did help out yesterday though. And
Okay.
took some photos over there.
All right. Maybe we need to set up a special little exercise and operations challenge. Like the Antarctica version. Crank down the temperature, blow some wind, blow some fake snow, penguins attacking them while they're working, something like that.
How about doors opening and cold air coming into
Yeah,
the toilet?
yeah. Have the pipes freeze. You can't use the restroom. You have to walk. I know I fit through the snow to go use the restroom. Yeah, it's yeah.
I know a lot of the other 150 people are scientists, right? They're down there doing research. They have curious minds, right? Were there anybody interested in kind of hey, what's happening with our wastewater?
Yeah, it was really that's in terms of the places I've worked. There was a lot more interest per capita in the wastewater treatment process than any other location I've worked. So that was really unique. But the majority of the people there were not scientists. They were the support workers, basically just keeping the fire going throughout the winter. And we did have some NASA, they've got their space observatory down there, so that's one of the scientific support roles. And it was really neat to have a lot of the people there who would never tour a wastewater plant in regular life, but they have this unique opportunity on ice to do it and expand their understanding of water treatment and water conservation and how it fits in the real world.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they have a communications detail I can go to have that experience. Really, really cool. But Daniel, thank you for coming and sharing some of your story. I know if anyone's watching that's actually at WEF Tech, there's a presentation this afternoon, a technical session on this. At what time is that?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock here in New Orleans. And Bill, thank you for shedding some light on this and for your mentorship to young professionals. It's what's needed out there for sure. So thank you both.